Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to the Game Shop's basement, to the GM Academy with the grumpy old GM. Today, I would like to address something that came up in one of the teaching sessions yesterday for Patreon supporters. I had a very excellent question from a game master who is recruiting players online, is excited to start GMing, but doesn't necessarily have just like a regular group of friends that he already knew. So he's looking for people online, and he said he's got at least 10 candidates of people that would like to play with him, but he's trying to narrow it down to a table of 5. And he asked me, he said, what should I look for when I talk to people that would make a good player? And I thought, that is an excellent question. And I don't think I've ever talked about anything like that on the channel. So here we go. Basically, the picture that we've got today is the blue-haired elf. Okay, that's my self-insertion. Whenever the blue-haired elf is in the picture, that's me listening to, another adventurer. If you listen to players, they will tell you, before you even sit down with them, they will tell you what kind of player they're like. So, for example, if a player talks a lot about damage numbers, I got 3 attacks per round, and I do an average of 20 points of damage per attack, so I'm just cranking out 60 points of damage each round. Nothing can really stand against me, 60 points, yeah. So if they're talking about, I'm just a DPS machine, so if they talk like that, if they're talking about how much damage they put out, it kind of tells you, something about what kind of player they might be at your table. Somebody else might come to your table, and I'm not naming names or anything. That's not what we're about. But real life examples, we are about real life examples. So there was somebody at our table recently. Didn't necessarily stay around too long, but he talked about how, but before he was first level, showed up to his first level game, and oh yes, my character hung out with a god for 10 years and became that god's best friend, became the chosen of that god, and all this stuff. There's a YouTube channel that I really appreciate a lot. It's called Dungeons and Discourse. And the wonderful lady who does that channel, she is very blunt. That is one of the things I appreciate about her a lot. She is blunt without really being mean. Like, she just puts it right out there. And she's got, saw one of her YouTube shows one time where she was talking about different kinds of players. And she was talking about this kind of player that has this, incredible backstory before they're even first level. And she was saying, maybe, what you're really thinking about is being an author and writing a novel, not necessarily playing a character in a role-playing game. Now, wait a minute, John, you've told all kinds of stories about your characters on the channel. Yes, I have. Pretty much what I've told you, though, is stuff that happened to my characters after I started playing them. So if I tell a story about a 16th level character, those 16 levels of experience happened in the game. Your character's life pretty much starts in your first level session. There's a little bit of background, but so when you talk to people, they'll let you know. You can tell if somebody is a number cruncher, power gamer, damage, points of damage. You can tell if somebody is kind of a, prima donna. You can tell if somebody has what they call main character syndrome. You can tell, what kind of player they are. If you listen to them, maybe they'll complain about previous dungeon masters. That's a good thing to listen to. Is, oh yeah, there was this dungeon master that expected us to think all the time. He or she just liked all these puzzles, and or they would have plots that we had to figure out, and I just want to hit things. I don't want to have to figure anything out. I'm playing the game to relax. I don't want to use my brain. And people will actually say this. Yes, I'm kind of making fun of it here as I lampoon it a little bit, but people actually will say, I don't want to use my brain when I play D&D. I've heard that from, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how far we've come since the 80s and 90s, But if you listen to people, I've got some questions that I will ask people when I meet them on Discord or when I meet them at a game shop or something. Just get people started with, hey, how long have you been into D&D? And what kind of characters do you like to play? What got you into D&D? Like, how did you get started? What was your intro into it? What do you like about it? And if you can get people started with some general questions and then listen, just kind of listen to how they talk about the game, you will be able to determine a lot about them as a player. Don't even have to play with them, just listen. People will tell you all about themselves and how they play. So that is kind of like the idea for today. That's the best advice I think I can give about how to, decide. Like, if you do have a pool of player candidates, if you're not at a place where you're just desperate to fill the table, and we've all been there. When I transferred colleges and I was like a new kid in a new college and nobody knew me, yeah, I want to fill butts and seats at my table, move to a completely different city for a new job, don't know anybody. I want to fill butts and seats at my table. I just moved. My life has been turned upside down. I'd like some sense of normalcy in my life, and having a regular D&D game, to me, that's normal in my life. I'd like to get a table built, and this was the years before the internet. Now if I really wanted to, I could reach out to old friends and stuff on the internet, but before there was internet gaming. So depending on, if you do have more people who would play with you than you have seats, and you need to sort them out, listen to them. Or if you're thinking about somebody, man, I think this person might be cool at my table, I wonder. Well, don't wonder, just listen to them. They'll tell you what they're like as a player if you just listen. So if you enjoy this content, if it's helpful to you, then there's the like and subscribe stuff. We've got Discord down below. You can actually find links to play with us and stuff. There's Patreon down below, where you can actually receive personal coaching from me and some other grumpy old GMs. And we will help you out whether your goals are professional or not. Just as a GM, we will invest in you and work to make you better. So in the meantime, it's summer's almost here. Gen Con's at the end of summer. Apparently we're going to Gen Con. Apparently that's a thing. And there's other surprises coming up. So in the meantime, I'll see you around the gaming table.